So this is crazy. We're approaching a evict apocalypse. Whether you like it or not, that's crazy. Hopefully, people, our viewers, are trying to keep up with their rent, but a lot of people in the country are not. It's really wild, uh, and that it's crazy if we have these things with like not paying people living wage, and then how are you going to deal with evict apocalypse? Hire more police? Like this country is full of stupid ass people at this point. I can't hold my tongue anymore. I'm getting too old to hold my tongue. So like, so I want to pull this article right here. We get into it because this is crazy. We're gonna give different parts of the country to show you that this is like happening all over the country right now. This NPR article shows some numbers pretty much. Millions can face eviction with federal moratorium ending in a log jam in aid. So because to get access to these websites, it's like shitty ass state websites to get this money. It's fucking easier, to get sneakers in a sneaker app to get fucking to pay your rent at this point.
That's very, very scary. That scares the shit out of me.
Everyone knows how hard the sneaker app is.
Yeah. For those that don't know,
yeah,
it's so difficult that I don't even bother. I just pay the extra money on StockX.
Yeah.
I don't even. So like this is for real, folks.
So it's getting bad to the point that landlords are like, I'm gonna show you this. So pretty much this example, he's an Uber driver right here. Messiah Rhodes. He's a single dad who drives a Uber for a living. He's behind about $15,000 in rent. No, 5,000. No, I swore it was 15,000. Yeah, it's 15,000. So it's right. He's falling behind $15,000 behind his rent. His landlord has filed an eviction case against him because landlords are total
that's a
assholes.
down payment on a house in in a normal time.
Yeah, that's the problem with rent.
Like actually people, for housing people instead of trying to level up and get rich. Remember when houses used to be used to like house people and to keep them dry in the rain and warm at night.
Oh, people just don't buy houses and leave them empty and then go to the other house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but back in those days, $15,000 is a nice down payment on a place that's yours and not your landlord's.
So him and a legal aid lawyer. These legal aid lawyers all over the course of the country are pulling their hair out trying to help people. We lifts the caps amount anyone can receive for back rent at the 60% with a maximum of $5,000, which is he still has to pay out the $10,000. But it's not going to solve our problem. So things are looking pretty ugly right now. The problem he has run into is that the government effort to distribute billions of dollars to prevent evictions is looking pretty ugly, at least in some parts of the country. Over 7 million people are still behind rent, according to the Census Bureau. 7 million people.
I thought it was worse than that.
It's probably is. That's the thing, rent. I think people are embarrassed. I don't think people want to talk to some census guy about them being behind rent.
But we thought that homelessness was already really bad.
Yeah.
Imagine if you add even 3 or 4 million more to that. Oh man.
Yeah,
because we don't have we didn't have the homeless services infrastructure to even adequately address the homeless people that we had. Imagine doubling or tripling or quadrupling the number. And you want to talk about rising crime?
Yeah, and people are slow. The people are not connecting the dots. They have, a 10-page. That's the thing. This whole bureaucracy is so insane. When it comes to poor people getting money, you have to hop through flames. You have to go to the Iron Man triathlon. You have to do all this shit to get money when you're poor. I know. You have to do all this stuff. So
but if you're already rich, you go to the Grammys and they hand you a bag with $150,000 worth of shit in it for free for no fucking reason.
So it's a 10-page application, a long list of documentation. I know people. Hopefully, people. The documentation they ask for is your blood tests, your taxes from the last 40 years, even though you're only 20 years old. It slows down this process. It's bogged down this process. The programs impose these limits because officials are concerned about running out of money. So this is why they make the process so difficult. They want to make it so difficult that people just give up and not even fucking apply to it. Just they have this shit thrown out on the streets. So other programs appear to be working much better. So in Houston, Texas, NPR likes to talk to landlords, and this is how bad it is. Fucking landlords are fucking stepping in to help. So she set up computers in business offices of properties and went door to door, encouraging residents to apply for help. This landlord is a dime in a dozen. Trust me, there's not that much landlords setting up computers and going door to door to help their residents apply to help. This woman isn't. Oh my god. So early on, the program was a mess. The portal crashed. Applications got lost. There were long delays.
Applications got lost. You see how quickly that happens? I mean, when it comes to people's debts, do those debt records ever just get lost?
No, they fine you. They fine you. They fine you. They fine you for debt years ago. So
It's just funny how that happens, though. You know?
Yeah, over something poor people
We just
applying.
lost an application that was put into an automated system. You know?
Oops.
Yeah. Oops.
I guess you got to get the fuck out of your house. She says she has a group that represents Houston landlords told the city and county that they would be going to be forced to evict people if they don't get this together. So these asshole landlords, we'll have to kick people out.
They are less asshole than the other landlords we've talked about, where the municipalities were ready to give them the money, and then they said, well, you're saying that if we get all the money that's owed to us, that we can't try to kick them out anyway? No, we're not going to take the money. At least these people are willing to take the money. You know, it's just so gross to me. It's slimy. You know, it's really slimy.
So this is wild to me. You know, the system orders to get money. He's an Uber driver, like he said. His daughter was struggling with remote school, but she's back in person. So this happened a lot to people. A lot of people had straight A kids before the pandemic, and because they have a lack of resources, the kids are failing remote schooling the whole time. So right now, this story is pretty sad. He says the property manager has been kind, understanding with him, but not really. This is like the most backwards statement right here. He says the property manager has been kind and understanding with him, but the eviction case still looms. So how is this property manager kind and understanding?
Well, I will say this: the property manager doesn't have the right to forgive the rent because the owners would have to do that.
Yeah.
But there are different things that property managers have been doing, a lot of underhanded tactics to make people's lives harder, and this property manager is not doing those things. And it's sad that we would even rationalize it in such a fashion, because there are property managers specifically and some landlords, actual owners, that have done really, we covered it right here on Black Power Magic Hour, where one of the landlords took the front door off the hinge in an effort to force them to move out. Like, you know, turning off their water, turning off their electricity, taking away their security, you know, all these illegal things that they're doing, and they're doing them anyway. This particular manager did not
but the thing is that
any of those
I'm gonna
things.
keep going. If you keep going, so the property manager is nice and kind, whatever. But at the end of this article, it says Messiah Rhodes says he has called 40 different landlords, and with this ongoing eviction case on his record, he says all of them are telling him they won't rent from him. So
every you know live in the street, please. I mean, it's and people keep telling us about bootstraps, and they keep telling us that it's the land of opportunity. But every time somebody tries to make an opportunity for themselves, there are several more obstacles put in their way. And I think that people should still keep fighting for what they deserve in life. This is ridiculous. You gotta
hear. Speaking of bootstraps, you gotta hear this bootstrap story. This is like the most stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. So a 70-year-old woman is getting a PhD and is threatened eviction because she's getting a PhD, pretty much. She's trying to pull it at this age. That's just the most like brave thing in the universe, to be that old and be able to like move up in your life, to get a PhD.
You're still trying to absorb information with your brain, your 70-year-old brain. That in itself, eviction or not, is brave.
Well, someone's shitty ass hoopty fire alarm is going on. Alarm is going off. All right.
This is Brooklyn.
Crappy ass car. Fuck
We're
that
giving
car.
the Black Power Magic Hour viewer the authentic Brooklyn experience.
Yeah. So this is in Texas. Of course, it's going to be in Texas.
Everything is. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, Dr. Evil. Shut the fuck up.
Everything's worse in Texas. I don't think it's big because obviously, it was big. This kind of shit would be happening. So I want to play this clip. I want to hear her talk about it. First, she's gonna show us some shitty ass ad first, even though I had it preloaded. Oh, here it is.
Said that she was just trying to keep her mind active to stay busy in retirement. She wanted to take these online classes, and now she fears because of that she may lose her HUD housing assistance.
Well, I always wanted.
For Betty Harper,
this
no
is who
mountain
they're
is
picking
too
on.
high.
You could do anything you put your mind to doing.
At 70 years old, she is just one class away from earning her PhD.
A PhD.
I always
yo.
wanted my doctorate.
Yo.
And I had to wait until my children graduated from college and my grandchildren so I could help them.
Finally, she says it was her turn. The retired special education teacher says she wanted to keep her mind active. She started taking online classes 5 years ago through Northern Central University, working to meet her goal slowly but diligently.
And I am on the dean's list.
And months before she is set to graduate, she says she got a call from
Now
an
she's on the
employee
eviction
at
list,
Fawn
which is
Ridge
some fucking
apartment.
bullshit.
Called me and stated to me I had 30 days to move.
Betty says they told her because she was a full-time student, she no longer qualified for her HUD housing assistance.
And I said to her, I am
She
only
only has
taking
one class.
How could that be full-time? I am only a part-time student.
We tried to speak with employees today to clear up what appears to be a misunderstanding.
Wow, if that is
They
not a
refused
Karen,
to talk with us.
if that is
We
not a
contacted
Karen,
the property
they don't
management
exist.
company involved based in Alabama, but have not heard back. A legal expert tells us HUD housing does not allow for an entire unit to be occupied by full-time students. The restriction was put in place to avoid dormitory housing and doesn't appear to apply to this
I'm gonna give you the history of this is
If I
actually
was
a racist ass
evicted
history
at
for this
point,
shit.
I have
This is actually based
no
on racism.
funds
That
to
law is
move.
We
fucking
will
pure
continue
racism.
But the
seeking
law
answers
still
for
doesn't
future
apply.
Dr. Betty Harper.
Fuck
Shelley Childers,
where the law
ABC
came
13
from. She's
Eyewitness
not a
News.
full-time student. She's in one class. A graduate program full-time takes you about a year or a year and a half. She's been at this for 5 years. And you see how that, don't say it. Yo, dude, I'm sorry, yo. I'm a little bit excitable today because I squatted a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm really close to, saying something that will get our producers to be like, yo, we can't do this show no more. I'm trying so hard to be good, but these people are pissing me off. You have a 70-year-old woman in a walker taking one, in what universe is taking one class of full-time student? Man.
And she has a bank like Dr.
Messiah, take the wheel.
Like she wants to be called Dr. Betty Harper. Like that's like give her that. And that we have. I'm going to talk about HUD. So when they talk about that dormitory rule, they actually try to do that. It's a really racist. It's based on racism. It's kind of the idea they don't want a whole bunch of kids, want a bunch of black young people living together. Pretty much, it's based on a historical racist law. It's kind of like what happens with Section 8. Like you don't want like the dad to live with the mother. You don't want the mother to live with the dad.
Community.
It's like that's what that law is based in.
Family.
It's based on the pure racist stuff, and they're trying to use that. It's not even the right law to even use it for this situation, which shows they're totally in the wrong. You see them running into their pickup trucks. Dude. Yeah.
That chick looked like a fucking meme. We're talking about the straightest of blonde hair, the overweightest of the overweight, and driving a MAGA truck. Like, and it's in red. It's a red MAGA truck.
There's a red Dodge Ram too, which is like the peak. It's like the Dodge Ram and the Ford Raptor is like the high peak.
But I gotta ask you know what I'm about to ask you, right? Where does the Colorado rank
Oh,
on that list?
oh, it's low because like it's seen as kind of like a camper truck. So in the Dakota, the taco truck is not even an American truck. So like if you drive that and you're a MAGA person, you're just a fucking idiot.
Are you talking about the Tacoma?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Toyota. Yeah, that's Japanese.
So it'd be MAGA people driving Toyota Tacomas. Just shows me how like stupid they are.
Yeah, you don't even know how it would be like a vegan with like, horsehide leather shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
What are you doing driving a Tacoma with Blue Lives Matter on it and American flag? What the fuck are you doing? Stupid. So this shows you like the example in Texas. Literally, they're using.
Might as well put a Black Lives Matter next to it.
Yeah, exactly. So like using this crusty HUD law to kick out an elderly woman who obviously is a generational asset to her family. That's what they leave out too. Like she helped her kids and
the law does not adequately apply to her, even if you wanted to use the racist ass law.
Exactly.
It still does not apply to her.
Yeah. So hopefully people follow this story. It is an ongoing story at this very moment. They are trying to evict her at this very moment.
We're talking about we're talking about full evict apocalypse. But the thing is, we're not even just talking. It seems like it's the southern states, right, Messiah? We can't get away from these stories in these southern states where they are engaging in some really underhanded tactics.
Are we going to Miami now? Welcome to Miami.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go to see what the. Let's look at this entanglement around where Will Smith lives. Let's check out this eviction related entanglement that we've got. I mean, and the thing is, again, because I know that we're back on the boomer social media network. I want you. I really want some of you older conservatives. I really want to see in the comments section. Please tell me how you can justify what we are about to bring to you. So hit it.
So this is crazy to me. This Miami apartment building is evicting everybody. It's like, no.
I mean, maybe none of them paid their bills. Maybe every single one of them was a deadbeat and they refused to go to work. I mean, isn't that like the whole like narrative that we've been hearing lately? Like everybody is a deadbeat and nobody.
Yeah, exactly. People don't want to go back.
Nobody wants to pay. Like the whole building is sitting up on PPP loan scams or whatever,
which is like extremely rare, but they want to make it a big deal.
Hamilton on the Bay, and I have other residents of Hamilton on the Bay that are being kicked out of our residence as well. Suddenly, we were given 60 days.
It looks
notice
like they lived in a deck of cards
without being able to being given the proper amount of time to find a good place to live, and without being given any assistance to actually make that happen, especially in the market that we're facing now. We have residents who have lived here for 5, 10, 15, even 30 years. Residents who have made structural repairs and improvements to their own personal units because they were told they were going to be able to live here for an extended period of time. Our building has been under renovation for the last 3.5, almost 4 years. They've decided they wanted to get rid of everybody so that they could expedite the renovation process. So instead of actually doing it in a way that takes care of us and helps us find a nice place to live, they're just saying, no, you got to go now. We've spoken with a couple of politicians. So we spoke with Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. We also spoke with State Senator Pizzo.
I can see why you want to hold on to this. If you fix it up, that's pretty dope.
To the company. And so we're waiting on a response from them.
Look how close
and then based on their response, we'll either, hopefully they'll come to the table and try to negotiate and help us out. Or, if they don't, then we will go to court.
So that's a quick video, but
but let's talk about a little
too quick. I want to go to the article.
Let's talk about how this happened because that there's no way when you have all those kinds of tenants in the building, there is no way that
it was like a guy in a suit. It was an old lady. It was like a whole bunch. It was like you couldn't even pin the demographic. It was just everybody was standing behind them,
Right. Because think about it. Think about it this way, right? There's no way that you could send a 60-day eviction notice to somebody without cause. Right? But then you look at it and they sent the 60-day notice to everyone. So let's talk about how we got to that, how they got, what tactics that they used to hit everybody with an eviction all at the same time.
So pretty much what's going on here. So they start the excuse for renovations. Unfortunately, the redevelopment project has reached a phase where renovations will impact your apartment home and will block access to it. And according to the termination option of your lease, we must terminate your lease and ask you to vacate your apartment or home on or before January 16th. So everyone got this letter.
July 16th, not January 16th.
Oh, Josh, yeah.
But no. But let's talk about how they even got that letter, because they did something really funny first. Okay?
So the new lease included an early termination clause?
No. So we're not talking about just new leases. They pulled a bait and switch for people to voluntarily switch from their ironclad lease to a lease with a clause in it that allows the building to evict them at pretty much any time. So when one of the guys got the lease and then had his lawyer look at it, what they told them was, well, this is just, a formality, because, we would never kick you out of the building. This just allows us to move you to a different unit in the building while we renovate yours. So this is just a legal formality, so that, it gives us the leeway and the flexibility to just move you to another unit inside the building.
So they're receiving relocation assistance, such as discounted moving expenses. we're paying for you to get the fuck out of discounted, get the fuck out of there, pretty much.
So it's not even that we're paying for your moving expenses. Yeah. We'll just have it cost just a little bit less. But do you see how unethical and unscrupulous and illegal what they did? But I'm pretty sure we're going to get people, justifying it and tell them, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No, let's not even talk about the disabled residents. Let's not talk about the people who spent money out of their own pocket, which, when you rent, you're not expected to do that. You're expected to call the building manager to make the repairs. These people put their own money into sprucing up their units only to have this kind of shit happen. But tell us again that, it's okay. It's all right that they're being treated this way. Yeah.
So the attorney representing Hamilton, because he's been in the court, like you said, the owner lied to residents to get them to terminate their existing leases and enter into a new lease with an early termination clause, and then merely sent eviction notice. This bait and switch shocks the conscience, and we are calling on the owner to do the right thing and work with residents to make sure everyone has time to find a new home and move. If not, the owner will be explaining his cruel lies and unlawful actions to a judge. But we see what happens. I think the judges love landlords and their attorneys, but we see.
No, I think I know that I sound like really cynical a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I think that this example is so extreme.
I hope so.
I can't even see a judge going for the judge is going to look at this and see it for exactly what it is.
It's escalated after meeting with the building's tenants representative Frederica R. Wilson.
Of course, a Democrat. Because and the thing is, you could
found
say
the
what you
one
want
Democrat
about the Democrats, but you don't see Republicans stepping up to protect consumers. You don't see Republicans stepping up like that.
So this is what they're
asking for. And the thing is, have you ever heard me say this before, Messiah?
Yeah.
That whenever somebody asks you for something that is reasonable and you refuse to hear them, then the next step is for them to ask for something that's seemingly unreasonable in response. Yep. Like, they're not going to go away. They're just going to keep asking for more, because if you ask for more than what you want, then when you negotiate, you'll come down to something that's actually reasonable. Mm-hmm. Now look at the list of demands that they're asking for here. A 60-day, extended 60-day eviction request to at least another month to September 16, right? Yeah. Provide tenants an allowance of $22,500 per unit to cover move-in costs and living expenses, which would probably cover a year's worth, roundabout a year's worth of rent, right? Do not evict residents who are unable or unwilling to move and honor their existing
Yeah,
leases.
do not
The
evict
actual-
sick. Do not evict sick and old people. Pretty much.
Right, because
know.
I mean, what are they going to do? Pause the ongoing construction at the building until the evicted tenants move out. Give first dibs to existing tenants when the remodeling is completed, as well as pay for their move out and subsequent move-in expenses. Now, the thing is that if a judge signs off on this, it's going to cost these people more money than if they would have just done the right thing to begin with.
And that's what makes these scams so.
They got fucking
frustrating.
greedy, and they may end up getting burned by this.
Like
I'm
the
just waiting for the first person to pop up in the comments section, you know, that's going to try to defend this garbage.
No, I think our comment section all worried about their rent. Maybe YouTube, I don't know. But yeah, but yes. So many of the buildings tenants are new parents to the elderly. Like, this is crazy to me. During the pandemic, recovering from surgeries and medical procedures. This is cool what happened.
But the thing is, they don't look at them as human beings. They look at them as numbers. They look at them as an obstacle to, you know, being able to sell the building for a really large profit, so that they can get ultra mega rich instead of just super.
So one of the condos nearby is priced more than $4 million. No wonder they're trying to get everyone the fuck out of there. If one condo is $4 million. So this is also ongoing. All these, like we said, this evict apocalypse is happening at this very moment. This is why Lily
Oregon doing this, right? They got all their people out of the leases so that they can do the more lucrative Airbnb / you know, condo selling /
So like, and you know,
what
situation.
What are you gonna do when this happens in all American communities? What are you gonna do then when you have 200 million Americans living in the streets, and then you want to talk about crime?
And it goes back in the art, and like you said, we played that clip from the Miami Herald, and like literally, it wasn't even a documentary. It was literally the residents begging for help. That's pretty rare to see that, like in a media piece. It wasn't even like, oh, this is what happened in the past, in the future. It was just like a minute piece.
People, disabled people,
yeah.
And then that one guy that just sounds like, you know, somebody from Jersey Shore standing there in the middle talking like that.
That's when you know shit is serious when dudes.
Yeah, the shit is serious, right? And the thing is, again, I'm one of these people that notices patterns.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen guys that look and sound exactly like him advocating for this kind of stuff to happen to black people? This is what happens when you don't look at minorities as human beings. You're actually setting the stage for these kinds of things to happen to you because you are setting the precedent. So anytime you keep talking, well, you know, big business is worth more than people, especially minorities. And then this is the second show in a row where we go to two different areas where the exact people who we're used to seeing advocating for this kind of stuff happening to black people, now they are the activists. Now they care about this issue of mega gentrification.
Yeah, because people keep thinking they're rich, but we keep saying that we're talking about the top 1.000. We're talking about those people, and everyone thinks they're that. You're not that. You're far from that. Everyone's far from that. Everyone.
They don't know how far away they are. They just don't understand how. You know, and the thing is, and I've been saying it for very many years, long before Black Power Magic Hour, that anything that you see happening to minority groups in your country, it's a beta test to see what your palate is. And if you can taste it and say, you know what, it's not too bitter, then they're going to serve you the plate that they serve to the minority groups. So be careful about the people that you thumb your nose up at and say, oh, I'm glad something bad is happening to them because it makes my difficult life
What
easier
about
to
Chicago?
stomach.
What about Chicago?
What about Chicago?
Yo, I'm being evicted from my house. What about Chicago? What about black and black crime? Like, what? Like, now
you're going to be in the street committing white on white crime in Idaho.
This is crazy with 2021, yo. I can't believe that's like a true.
This is the information age. This is the information age, but motherfuckers don't seem to know a goddamn thing. I mean, you know, But this is Black Power Magic Hour, where we're gonna keep sounding the alarm over and over and over and over again, and then watching you guys get upset when the alarm that you ignored turns into a several alarm issue, and now your lives are on fire. And then you're like, well, I thought the fire was only going to be contained to the blacks and the browns.
They're not even shooting documentaries anymore. They're shooting like people like pleading for help. It's crazy to me. So this is like the most craziest dash and bash in a long time. So this is Black Power Magic Hour, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, with act.tv, the amazing act.tv team, with Dr. Virginius. He's live on Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Twitch, and that's dashing and bashing.